Welcome in on this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, right?
It is Tuesday. It feels like not Tuesday.
I know. I feel like it's been a week already today. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Live Desk. I am Janae Hancock here with Taylor Johnson, reunited once again.
Yes, and it feels so good.
It does. It does. And you know what? A press conference is getting underway right now in Jefferson City as this is Governor Mike Kehoe. He is making an announcement. Let's take a live listen.
Bailey, as you know, yesterday President Trump announced that he's appointed Andrew Bailey as the co-deputy director of the FBI. I'd like to say congratulations to Andrew and his family. Andrew is a great guy and been a great friend to me and many Missourians. Since his appointment by Governor Parson to this position in 2022, Andrew and his team have worked hard right across the street from here to truly make Missouri a national leader in protecting our freedoms, our Constitution, and upholding the rule of law. I know he truly cares about making our state and nation even stronger and safer for the next generation. I sincerely believe that this selection further emphasizes the President's commitment to enforcing law and order in our nation. As you know, Andrew is a U.S. Army veteran and prosecutor. Andrew has spent his career fighting for Americans and know he will continue to do a great job serving in D.C. in this new role at the FBI. And although I've missed Andrew very, very much here in Missouri, I want to say thank you to President Trump and United States Attorney General Pam Bondi for selecting Andrew. Missouri has a truly incredible legal talent pipeline, and we know Attorney General Bailey will continue to make our state proud. This morning, I'm happy to announce the role of Attorney General is incredibly significant in our state. And serving as the chief legal officer for the state. The Attorney General, as you know, is the top cop. It is not lost on me the incredible importance of selecting the right person for this job, and my team and I took this selection very seriously. We wanted the most qualified person who is ready to work on day one. So today, I'm proud to announce the next Attorney General of Missouri, Catherine Hanaway. A former U.S. attorney and someone who is very familiar with this building that we stand in today, Catherine is a talented, trusted prosecutor who has a passion for enforcing the rule of law. Catherine previously served as the chief federal law enforcement officer for the Eastern District of Missouri, where she supervised more than 4,000 criminal, affirmative, and defense cases, personally tried cases to jury verdicts. She also supervised and assisted the development of cutting-edge theories of criminal prosecution. Catherine will be and is tough on crime, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with the Attorney General's office under her leadership and our #1 priority, which is public safety. Catherine will assume the role of Missouri Attorney General on September 8th, when Attorney General Bailey is sworn in as Deputy Director of the FBI, and we will work with the Attorney General's office to ensure a smooth transition process. In addition to being the first major statewide office appointee of our administration, Catherine will be the first woman to hold the position in state history, something she is very familiar with as the only woman who has been the Speaker of the House of Missouri history. On a personal note, Claudia and I are proud to call Catherine and her family is with her today, and I'm grateful that they support her in this sacrifice as a longtime trusted friends. I've known Catherine for over 20 years. She represents and understands Missouri conservative values. She led that historic effort in the House just several years ago to make Missouri the great place it is today with those conservative values. Catherine's husband, Chris, joins us today along with her children, Lucy and Jack. And on a real personal note, as you all know, Catherine's a horse person. Most people would probably never guess that. Catherine grew up in rural Nebraska. I called her drummer because she did the barrels, but she does understand rural values, and I think that's another reason that rural Missouri has connected and will continue to connect with Catherine's values, as we know is so important here in our state. Thank you to the entire Hanaway family for supporting Catherine and serving Missourians in this new role. I'd ask that Missourians pray for her and her family in this next chapter. Congratulations to Catherine Hanaway, Missouri's 45th Attorney General. Catherine, I'll hand it over to you for a few words.
Governor, Thank you so much. It is a big day, and I am maybe a little choked up already. There are a lot of thank yous I need to say, but the first and most important one is to you for making this appointment, and to you and Claudia for serving our state so incredibly well. I also want to thank some friends and mentors who I know were involved in this selection process: Adam Gershom, Lowell Pearson, Andy Blunt, Bill Corrigan, and Ray Wagner, all of whom have had a lot of good influences on the Attorney General's office. I also want to thank somebody who's not with us. This is the part that made me choke up a little bit, who was a historic figure in this building and a great leader and a great friend to both the governor and I. Ron Richard showed us all how to really serve the public of Missouri, and I'm sure he's smiling right now. I'm grateful to all of my partners at Hush Blackwell. This is a sacrifice. It's a big change. I had just completed about a year ago serving as chair of that firm, which is more than 1,200 lawyers in 25 cities. And first, last, and always, I want to thank my family. My husband, Chris, my rock, who makes it all possible. Our daughter, Lucy, who I can remember was exactly this big when I started serving in the legislature and came down with me. Our son, John, who joined us from Belarus while I was speaker. We went through a lot of losing election days, so to be here winning is just so fantastic. I also they can't be here. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, and nieces. There's some other thank yous I want to make that are so important to this job, and I want to start with the General Assembly. Obviously, I have a special place in my heart for the General Assembly, having served there. But the partnership between the General Assembly and the Attorney General's office is absolutely critical. It's a source of funding, and it is a source of righteous investigations. I hope to continue to have a great partnership, and I will need leadership from the General Assembly. I want to thank General Bailey. It is absolutely remarkable what he has accomplished in his short tenure, and he is handing off an office that is in better shape than that office has been in a very long time, and I'm eager to get there. I want to thank the men and women who work in that office. They are tirelessly committed to protecting the rule of law and the Constitution and the public safety of all Missourians. It's a great office, and I can't wait to get there and show the people just that work there how valued they are. I also, maybe in the category of a little bit longer term, I want to thank the judges here in Missouri for carrying out justice. I think I'm, going to be spending a lot of time with them, so I want to make sure that they know I'm very grateful for what they do. I'm humbled beyond belief to accept this appointment. The governor mentioned my rural roots. My first introduction to Missouri was I came to the University of Missouri. I ultimately transferred to Creighton, but the dorm I moved into, which was Wolpers, was bigger than the small town I came from in Clarkson, Nebraska. I mean, it was eye-opening. And some of you know in the last few years I've been down here to testify on behalf of the glyphosate bill that allows farmers to grow soybeans without having manual labor out there pulling the weeds out. Part of the reason I'm so supportive of that bill is that's what I did all of my teenage years. We used to call it walking beans or hoeing beans. So to go from a town of what is now 639 people to standing in the governor's office and accepting this appointment is truly humbling and almost unbelievable to me. The first and most important part of this job is to protect Missourians from anyone who would do violence against them, who would rip them off in financial schemes, who would abuse them through providing terrible care and getting paid by Medicaid, and anyone who would try to invade their constitutional rights. Working with local prosecutors, sheriffs, police, and the Highway Patrol, fighting crime is and will remain job one for this office. I look forward to having a close and collaborative relationship with law enforcement, as I did when I was United States Attorney. I'm assuming this office at an unprecedented moment of technological change. AI is already changing how law is practiced in the private sector, and I do think that that knowledge is something special I'm going to bring with me to the Attorney General's office, having had the resources of one of the largest law firms in the country, and be able, I know the AG's office is going to be technologically behind, but we need to start to evolve, so it will be a priority of mine to be a leader in realizing the efficiencies that AI can provide, but also a leader in protecting Missourians from any abuses that may be rendered through AI. And just to kind of wrap up, this year, Missouri lost one of its greatest public servants, a man who started his career as an assistant attorney general in the Missouri AG's office and went on to serve as governor and senator. And of course, I'm talking about Kit Bond, who was my first boss in public service and taught me an awful lot. But the most important lesson he taught me was pretty simple, and it was that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, lawyers really like to show off how much they know. But I am committed to living by that rule that Kit put out, and as I make decisions as AG, realizing that they aren't just going to be words we write in some brief, but that these decisions will have an impact on the real lives of Missourians. So, Governor, I promise to you that as AG, I will work as hard as I can. I will be innovative. I will adapt to changing times. But more than anything else, I'll show Missourians just how much I care. Thank you. It is currently a part of that state constitution. I know that there's ongoing litigation to clarify what exactly the amendment means. I think there's many unresolved issues, and the office has been pursuing that litigation, and I'll continue to do so. Yeah, so I have a long history of being pro-life. I am pro-life. I, certainly have, like most women, or not most women, but many women, we had some infertility struggles. I'm empathetic to that, but I believe in the sanctity of human life. Okay, so let me take the second one first. I have recently been working, just for those who don't know, you probably all know, our firm was retained to respond to a civil investigative demand from the AG's office on behalf of the Grain Belt Express. Since I had that matter in private practice, when I switch over to the Attorney General's office, I'll have to recuse myself, but the team that is there, the great team that is there, will be able to go forward without my input. I won't be able to deal with that case, but there's a great team on it, and they can continue to do their work. With respect to glyphosate, as far as I know, there's no ongoing litigation. I don't have a forward-looking plan to file litigation. I need to get, the first I heard of this, it might be interesting, last Tuesday. So I've had a week to sort of process all of this.
So the Attorney General's office, over the past few Attorney Generals, they only lasted about 2 years before they moved on to higher office. I know you've run for higher office before. Do you still have an interest at some point in serving in some higher office, or how long do you anticipate being there?
So my game plan for sure is to serve the next 3 years, and then if Missourians will vote for me and believe I earn a full term, then I'd like to serve a full term. That's my game plan.
As the Attorney General's office, huge new legislation passed your office is in charge of representing St. Louis Police Department because of the state control. I guess, are you prepared for that, or what are your thoughts on kind of representing that entity?
I will represent the police officers of the city of St. Louis with great pride. It was such an honor to get to work with them when I was U.S. Attorney. They would bring cases directly to our office. We did about 800, that might be a high number, but hundreds of felon in possession of firearms cases that St. Louis Police brought directly to us. So I've worked with them closely for a long time, and I'll be proud to represent them.
Are there other issues that you foresee a need to recuse yourself from? And then also, do you plan to continue on the forum with the St. Louis Sheriff?
So second one first, again, because it's the easy one. Yes, I do intend to continue to pursue that. I think one of the really great achievements of Andrew Bailey as Attorney General has been to make sure that our public officials serve with integrity, and he's removed those who don't. And so I definitely will continue to pursue the case involving the sheriff. And there is one other thing that I do need to recuse myself from. I'm just not remembering what it is right now. But, you know, there'll probably be a few other clients that, like, come up.
Will we see a style difference in the way you operate the office and blast out issues of the day?
I don't know that you'll see an issues difference. And I'm not intimately familiar with how some of my predecessors managed. My style is to manage by walking around and really spending a lot of time with the people in that office. There are a lot of really good, talented people. I want to communicate to them that the work they do is valuable, that they are valued, and I know that they have some ideas about how to do it more effectively, and I'd really like to hear them.
Two things to follow up on, Kurt. One, you mentioned the people across the street and their capability. Will Andrew Bailey's staff be Catherine Hanaway's staff?
Yes.
Two, you have made it clear, both of you, this morning, that your focus will be prosecution. Your predecessor's focus, arguably, was litigation. Does this represent a change, a significant change of focus in what that office is about?
I believe that Andrew Bailey was absolutely focused on preventing and prosecuting violent crime. I think the office has been focused on that, and it's going to continue to be focused on it. It is the #1 problem facing our state. We can't have economic development. We can't have next generations who want to stay here and make their lives here if they don't feel safe. So that's where we're going to be focused.
Thank you. And I'll take some questions to the governor.
Governor, the announcement for Andrew Bailey was just yesterday. How much runway could you have had to prepare for a big decision like this?
As Catherine said, there was just a few days' notice that we had in the last week or so, I would say, that we had an indication this could be happening. And so kind of back to my business skills, when you know there's something brewing out there, you want to try to be as ready as you can. We saw that with Governor Parson, where he had multiple different appointments in his governorship. So you always want to be ready for something like this.
Speaking of Governor Parson, the reason he said he picked Bailey was because he wanted him to stick around. Obviously, that's not happening. Do you have the same hopes for Attorney General?
Absolutely. It was probably the first question I asked Catherine, is that this is a big challenge, and it's a great challenge really for her family and leaving a private practice that she was very, very good at. I worked with her on several different business issues up in the St. Louis area in this position in my earlier one. So I knew it was a sacrifice for her, and but she felt the calling like a lot of us do. And I always tell people I had a better job for this one, and I think she might say that too. But we're both from a position that nobody thought we'd be here, and this is my way to give back. And I know Catherine feels very passionate about that as well.
Did you consult the Trump White House on this choice? Did the Trump White House have any input on your choice?
No.
Governor, Attorney General Andrew Bailey made it his mission, one of his missions at least, to tackle the Delta 8 problem, especially gummies and drinks. Do you and the new Attorney
I haven't had a chance to talk to Catherine about it, but I've made very clear in my position that regulation in that product needs to happen. Access to minors to that product is not acceptable to me, and seems like the industry, no matter which side you are on, which distribution channel different people like of that product, do also agree on the regulatory piece for minors, and I think that's a very important issue to make sure we somehow get the sides together and accomplish that.
Governor, you supported
One from a new one.
Governor, you supported the pesticide labeling changes in legislation before. Did that play a determining role in your new appointees in a way?
No, to be honest with you, I didn't know Catherine was representing anybody in that, to be honest with you, until just recently. I supported that because, agriculture is our number one industry. We talk about that all the time. Missouri farm families, second in the United States as far as farm families. If that product is not available in the U.S., there will be foreign interests that make a similar product and send it here. And the protections that they have now will not be the protections that they have. So protecting Missouri's farm families and quite frankly, the footprint that that company has in Missouri is all very important to me.
What was the decision to seek?
Let's get a new one here.
Was the decision, was it a litmus test as far as asking if Ms. Hanaway was interested in seeking a full term in 28?
I'm interested in providing that office stability. I think that's safe to say. For sure, the rest of this term, which is roughly 3.5 years, anybody who is in any of these offices has a personal decision if it fits with their family, if they like the job, et cetera, to continue to run. But Catherine told me that that would be her intention, is that not only to serve out this, but to seek election.
And did you talk to anybody else about the position?
Not directly. Our team probably has talked to a few other people that were interested, but I have not directly talked to anybody else.
What was your decision in choosing her versus any of the other ones? And then also, what are you hoping that her plan includes to address the Greenbelt Expressway and also any their related pesticide liability lawsuits?
Well, as you can imagine, there's a whole bunch of people when this news broke yesterday that were interested in the job. And a lot of really good qualified people, men and ladies that I know very well that would all be very good at this. As I mentioned, I've known Catherine for a long time. She's run statewide before. I know that she is incredibly tough on crime. In her previous role, she has proven that. My number one thing is public safety and being able to work with the men and ladies who protect our communities all around the state. That was really important to me. It was very important to Andrew Bailey, who did a good job. And I felt like Catherine would represent the men and women in blue as good as anybody I knew. Others would have as well. But that, combined with some of her past experiences, her passion for the state of Missouri, those are the types of things. You want somebody you can work with, you can trust, and Catherine alluded to it, not only just the legislators in the House and the Senate, but communities across the state. We'll find Catherine shares that same vision of community safety and public service being a priority for us. As far as the grain belt is concerned, I've said all along, I'm a big believer in private property rights, and if I had a Century Farm and somebody came and said, I use eminent domain and I'm going to go across your farm now, I wouldn't be very happy about it either. And so I know rural Missourians are very much in tune to trying to make sure they protect the property rights that they've worked so hard to maintain, and I will continue with that position.
Governor, she mentioned AI efficiencies. I'm curious how you or how either of you imagine government employees or your deputies perhaps using AI on the job. Is that a possibility here?
Mark, you're a lot younger. I'm too old to even know what AI is. But I thought it was interesting that Catherine brought that up because it is a real threat to people right now. You're seeing this happen, and especially a lot in our seniors and other populations that we have across this country and here in the United States, where they're using AI deceptively to get people to react to certain offers or situations. And so I was actually pleased to hear, Catherine and I had not talked about that previously, but I was happy to hear her bring that up actually, because it's a threat, and making sure we understand that technology, use it to where it's our advantage, but protect those who are being taken advantage of, I think is really important.
I was just going to say there's some very basic things that can be done right away, like comparing deposition transcripts. You can automate that, expert witness testimony, summarizing depositions. You got to do some quality control checking, but these are tasks that would take assistant AGs a lot of time, And you can just automate a lot of that and really achieve some savings, and hopefully that'll allow us to do more cases and free up assistant AGs to kind of do the higher order level of thinking and take some of those rote things out. Even research can now be an AI plain language model. You know, the big research institutions like Westlaw all have quality ones that protect any personal information so that it doesn't get out into sort of those large language models.
One more.
Well, Governor, I feel like just because we need to ask you about redistricting, because I know you love that question.
Where's the map I gave you last week, Dave? I gave him a map, everybody.
So, you know, the Texas Democrats return, it looks like Texas is actually going to move forward with redistricting. So, does Texas move you to do that? Is that a necessary step for you? Were you waiting to see Texas move before you call a special session?
No, I don't think that was, we've been obviously watching what Texas is doing. Other states are considering doing this as well, as you know. And I've said all along that it's interesting to me that the Democrats start talking about gerrymandering. When you look at the states they're in charge of, that is the definition of gerrymandering. So our goal, if we move forward, and there's no decision to move forward, Dave, is to make sure Missouri's values are reflected in Washington, D.C. And I've said many times that I think our current speaker does a very good job of matching the values of Missourians.
Governor, there is political capital that could be spent, though, by going forward with that. If California and New York are going to counter Texas, and it's a wash, and it does nothing to change the outcome in Washington next year, do you really want to get that on this state, on you?
Well, there's always political capital, Kermit, in any decision that you make, as you know. But I'm not sure how they could gerrymander those states more. They're pretty well tied up. But you can't, that can't factor into the process. The process has to be, in my opinion, who represents Missouri's values the best, and what do we need to do to make sure that continues into the future.
So do you not think that a 6-2 map is representative of Missouri's values?
I think that Speaker Johnson is representative of Missouri values, and making sure he stays there. I don't think Congressman Jeffries and some of the comments, especially that he's made lately, do not match Missouri's values. Even Democratic values in this state do not match some of the things and positions he's taken, and that is concerning to me, and it's concerning. As you know, we just finished 11 days of the state fair. I heard it left and right. It's very concerning to many Missourians who hear some of the positions that he's taken from a state, by the way, that's about to try to elect a pronounced socialist as their mayor. That definitely does not match Missouri's values.
California and New York actually have fair maps and a commission to draw it. Would you bring that to Missouri?
I haven't contemplated that yet, Mark. I know that they do have a commission, but that's not something we've looked into, and I don't know if that's that might take a constitutional action in order to do that. Be my guess. But thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Kathy.
And that wraps up the press conference in Jefferson City. I do want to take a look at this tweet coming in from our bureau reporter, Hannah Falcon. She just posted this not too long ago. You are taking a look at Catherine Hanaway. She is a former state representative and former federal prosecutor, and she is now replacing Andrew Bailey. She will now be the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, and she is actually going to be the first woman to hold that position. As the governor just mentioned, Governor Mike Kehoe, she will officially be sworn in on September 28th. But I do want to give you more background on how we got to this point early this morning. It comes as the Trump administration tapped Attorney General Andrew Bailey to help run the FBI. Bailey will be the co-deputy director of the agency. He's been Missouri's Attorney General for about 2.5 years. Again, we just heard from Governor Mike Kehoe, as well as the woman that he appointed, the first woman to hold that position, Catherine Hanaway. Of course, we will continue to keep you posted on the latest latest developments coming out of Jefferson City. We will also hear more from our bureau reporter Hannah Falcon, but you can head over to our website, KCTV5.com, as well as download the KCTV5 News app. And giving you another look at that new appointee, this is Catherine Hanaway. Again, Governor Mike Kehoe making that announcement, wrapping up that press conference in Jefferson City this morning. And we will continue to keep you all posted. She is officially supposed to be sworn in on September 28th. Now, if you are just now joining us, I'm Janae Hancock here at the live desk, here to provide you with all of your news headlines. And of course, we have to touch on your weather. It may have gotten you all out of bed this morning, the loud rain and storms passing through the metro. We have received several photos like this one, what you're seeing here on your screen, through the KCTV5 and website, I should say, as well as the KCTV5 News app. For many of you, this one coming in from Kansas, McGill, about 2 hours ago, strike the rainbow taken along I-70. And then we also have some videos and Olathe, lightning sighting there as well, and some videos near gas stations. A lot of lightning photos and videos. So we will take a look at your forecast with meteorologist Melissa Meter, but I do also want to provide you with an update. We have just posted it on our website, KCTV5.com, not too long ago. That severe weather that swept through the metro early this morning is actually impacting schools, especially schools that were set to start today. Students returning to school, including the Raymore Peculiar School District, they announced at around 9:30 this morning that the power outages has impacted them, and there's no estimated time on repair from Evergy. We are going to take a look at the Evergy website, but I do want to read you exactly what the school district posted on Facebook not too long ago, saying that they will have an early dismissal. I want to read that information to you, pulling it up right now. They will have an early dismissal because of those power outages. So this will impact Ray-Peck High School as well as South Middle School, Ray-Peck Academy, and Lead Center. They went on to say that power issues are affecting AC, phones, internet, as you can imagine, mills, and safety systems. So they are dismissing students right now who drove themselves to school. Bus riders will be sent home shortly after that. And then parents may pick up students using normal procedures. So they said, please expect delays as we work to ensure a safe dismissal. So parents, if you haven't already received that notification, or if you know a parent that has a student with the Raymore School District, or Ray-Peck, I should say, a school district, you definitely want to reach out to them and let them know that unfortunately on the first day back to school, they will have an early dismissal because of the power outages that impacted the school district. Again, we do have that web story posted on our website right now, homepage. You can go to KCTV5.com. Again, we'll turn back to your weather in just a bit, but we also, actually, we have some storm damage video that we do want to get to. KCTV5's Gabby Luma was moving all throughout the metro today, and she has the latest.
Storms start to roll out of the Kansas City area. We are starting to see the damage it left behind, and that includes right here at 47th and Reinhardt here in KCK. Right behind me, you can see this tree on a house. It's kind of lodged in there next to that chimney. You can see the homeowners there are just trying to get all of that debris out of their yard. Again, Evergy is out here also restoring some power lines. We understand that people all across the metro area have had power outages this morning. We are also in Westwood at about 51st. In Belinder, where another tree was down. We were also at 55th and Row, where a tree was on a house. Definitely be safe out there as you are getting on those roads this morning. Give yourself just some extra time.
Always good advice. Be sure to take your time out on the roads today, regardless of if you see rain or storms moving through the area still. And today, voters will actually start deciding the fate of Jackson County Executive Frank White. That's because absentee voting begins. This means if you got a valid excuse like being out of town, you can cast your ballot early at the Kansas City Election Board. The deadline to register is September 3rd. No excuse. Early voting is set for September 16th. The special election is set for September 30th. And moving along back to schools, you can see that here on your screen. Students at Arrowhead Middle School and KCK, they will be learning in a different building this morning. Classes are being moved to Home Field. That's the indoor sports complex on State Avenue, just east of the Speedway. The move comes after a small fire in the school's kitchen yesterday. The district is trying to figure out when students will be able to return to school, and it could happen as early as tomorrow. So, of course, we'll continue to keep you all posted on that. And And speaking of kids returning to school, the students at James Walker Elementary, they returned today as well. KCTV5's Morgan Rydell has more.
I'm Morgan Rydell here at James Walker Elementary School in Blue Springs. In just a few minutes, kids will be walking down this hallway for the very first time to kick off the school year. And I want to show you into one of the brand new spaces these kids are going to see for the very first time. It's the art room. And just look at this. These kids are here early and it's their first time seeing this space. There's some of the lucky few this morning that are seeing it. So many more kids are going to be out here today. Their first time in such a beautiful space with those calming lights that they have. Just a nice art room for these elementary students. So many elementary students are going to be out here today. Just so exciting. Some of them going to school for the very first time, so just make sure you're kicking off a great school year.
Nothing like the first day of school. And speaking of which, we're going to get rid of this lower third so you can see exactly what we need to tell you. More kids from the Missouri side will hear the bell for the first time this school year. They did early this morning. Blue Springs, Green Valley, Grandview, North KC, Platte County, and Ray-Pec, who actually has an early dismissal, as we just touched on that story on our website now, will all have their first days today. And speaking of kids returning to school, we have to also touch on a safety alert that we have for you. You may have seen it on our morning show today, but if you happen to miss it, it's also all over social media. But if you happen to miss it, we're here to tell you all about it. There is an urgent safety alert for the off-brand Labubu toys. So before your kids attach it to their backpacks today or in the coming days, you want to double check that it is the real deal. The fake plush figures, known as Lafufus, pose a serious choking risk. The fake dolls break apart easily, creating several small pieces that can become choking hazards. So that's according to the U.S. Product Safety Commission. So parents, here's what you need to be on the lookout for. Experts say deep discounts can signal fake products. You also want to look for a Pop Mart sticker or a QR code that's scannable. Those can be found on authentic Labubu dolls, and you can only purchase from trusted stores, or you should only purchase from trusted stores. And most importantly, check for choking hazard warnings. And for more tips, you can actually head to our website, KCTV5.com. We have all of that posted, as well as some more tips for you. Moving along to another story that is getting a lot of reaction online. Walson police confirmed that they are looking into an incident involving a group of kids that sent a 12-year-old girl to a hospital over the weekend. KCTV5's Ali Espinoza spoke with the family, but we do want to give you a warning before we play this, as you may find it difficult to watch.
Parents Max Harris and Melissa Jones are outraged after he says his daughter was attacked over the weekend by a group of young teens. He wanted us to share this photo of his 12-year-old daughter in a hospital bed recovering from a bruised head, bruised ribs, and a concussion. He also posted a video of the incident to his social media page.
Her face is right there, get her!
It shows his daughter being dragged by the hair, stomped in the face, and slapped by another girl. The video has more than 40,000 views and 200 comments, with concerned parents and community members weighing in. Harris says he posted it so others would see the level of violence.
Sorry.
He says heartbroken for his daughter and wants the kids who did this held accountable.
They're doing it for no reason. It's kind of senseless. And so there's going to be more victims if they're not taught. There's going to be more than just her. There's going to be other kids in school. They're getting ready to go back to school. Now they're going to have a handful of people they can do it to.
And again, that story is currently posted on our website, KCTV5.com. That was KCTV5's Ali Espinoza reporting. Turning now to national news, the Justice Department is set to turn over records related to Jeffrey Epstein this week. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says that the panel should have started receiving documents as of Friday. And this actually comes after the committee subpoenaed the DOJ and set an August 19th deadline, that is today, for those records. The panel also subpoenaed 10 witnesses to testify on the case. And on Monday, former Attorney General Bill Barr appeared on Capitol Hill for his deposition. Committee Chair James Comer said that Barr testified that Epstein died by suicide and there was no foul play. Continuing on with national news, the U.S. State Department is cracking down on student visas, revoking thousands this year alone. On Monday, a State Department official said that more more than 6,000 student visas have been pulled this year. Roughly 4,000 of those stemmed from alleged criminal violations, including DUI, assault, and burglary. A couple hundred more visas were revoked for alleged terrorism ties under the Immigration and Nationality Act. The crackdown comes amid new vetting rules pushed by the Trump administration. The new rules require student visa applicants to make their social media accounts public and allow officials to screen for so-called hostile attitudes toward the U.S. Critics warn the tougher policies could drive away international students. Now, moving to another story that's happening here nationally. In the state of Colorado, the city of Denver started sending out layoff notices on Monday. More than 170 city employees will lose their jobs. Spencer Soysher reports.
D-Day for City of Denver employees is here, though the actual news of the layoffs is being spread out over multiple days.
The layoff notices are going to be going all week long, so it's only Monday, so we got the rest of the week to find out.
City workers and union reps knew this was coming because Mayor Mike Johnston said it was. But we didn't know how many jobs were on the chopping block until now. The city is laying off 171 employees, about 1.6% of the city's workforce. The bulk of the layoffs will come by not filling 665 open positions, 6% of the city workforce. The mayor's office says it also plans to shift 92 positions to a non-general fund source of funding. All in, it's 928 positions off the city's payroll, an 8.4% reduction.
Couldn't find the way to keep 171 people because we have a $50 million and a $200 million gap. I call BS on it.
It's fewer layoffs than some expected. But for the people affected, it's all the same.
Unfortunately, my husband, Scott Gilmore, was one of those city employees laid off.
At Monday's city council meeting, Councilwoman Stacy Gilmore fought back tears. Her husband lost his job with Denver Parks and Rec. Like many on the council, Gilmore has been critical of the mayor's layoffs.
He is a 61-year-old man that only wanted to serve out the last 4 years of his time till he was 65.
And the layoffs aren't done. Only some of the 171 have gotten their notices as the job fears continue into tomorrow.
It's worrying, it's not knowing, it's just being in suspense. You kind of have the butterflies in the stomach all day long. And
Good morning, Kansas City. I'm Marlia Campbell. Felix Anudike-Uzama's season is over before it even started. Chiefs announced they've placed him on injured reserve. Now, the Lee Summit native and former first-round pick went down with a hamstring injury in the fourth quarter of Friday night's preseason game in Seattle. Now, putting a player on IR prior to the league's 53-man roster cut deadline rules them out for the entire season. That is in exactly 1 week from today.
You're crazy if you don't pinch yourself to say, wow, what a moment that we're in right now.
The Wildcats are getting ready for a direct flight tomorrow morning from KCI to Dublin, Ireland. Number 22, Kansas State will take on number 17, Iowa State, Saturday morning at 11 Kansas City time. KU also kicks off the season Saturday night in their new stadium. The boys in blue are back in action tonight. Game 2 of the Royals-Rangers 4-game set at the K gets underway at 6:40. That's a look at sports. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, Firstborn 5 meteorologist Melissa Meter here, and it was quite the noisy morning. We had rain, thunderstorm activity move through, a severe thunderstorm that moved through the metro, packing a lot of lightning, heavy rain, as well as very gusty winds. There have been reports of downed trees, down power lines across the area, as well as, of course, there were reports of power outages. My house also was out of power this morning, so a lot went on this morning. Things are a lot quieter now, especially when we think about the bulk of that heavy rain and thunderstorm activity has exited the region. There still is the chance for some rain and storms as we go through the rest of the day today. However, there's still a lot of uncertainty with how the rest of the day will pan out. Our computer models, our smart computers, not doing a great job of grasping what's happening this morning or what happened this morning earlier, what's happening now, and of course, what is going to be happening later in the day. So we know there is the chance for some rain and storms, but how could it pan out? How much coverage could we see? That's a little bit more up in the air at this point. So let's kind of dive into really that rain chance as we go through the rest of the day today, because models, as I mentioned, are not doing the best job at what's happening and are probably going to continue to struggle for the next couple of runs or updates that they have before they kind of start to figure out what is going on. So here's a look at what our future radar has for 10 o'clock this morning. Of course, that's not necessarily what is happening out there. However, as we go through this afternoon, we are maybe going to see some spotty showers and thunderstorms develop, generally along and south of the I-70 corridor, but it looks like as we zoom out, better chances are towards our southern areas outside of our coverage area. That doesn't mean that we don't have that chance to see it. These could develop 50 miles north, and we could see the better chance for rain and storms. But if anything does develop, it has the potential to be strong to severe, and therefore we have a level 1 out of 5 risk highlighted south of the 435 loop and I-70. So from Lawrence to Olathe, Harrisonville, and then in Benton County and points south-southeast, we do have a level 1 out of 5 risk for some strong to severe storms today. That would be for damaging winds and heavy rainfall. Speaking of heavy rainfall, I wanted to take a look and show how much rain we got at the airport from this morning's activity. And it looks like between about a quarter to about 3/10 of an inch fell at the airport, and then around 3/10 in Lawrence. Other areas between about a tenth or less. Of course, this is not representative of everywhere across the area, and these are just 2 locations, but we know there were some pockets of heavy rainfall out there, and therefore there's probably some locally higher amounts. The good news is about the next couple of days is the fact that rain chances are on the decrease, and so is that heat, and so is the humidity. Let's talk about it. For today, of course, we know that we had that first warning in place this morning. That is such lifted due to the chance for spotty rain and storms that were moving through the metro have pushed out of the area. So we do not have that first warning in place anymore. Some spotty to isolated activity possible for the rest of the day today. We still have the heat. We still have the humidity. It is still hanging with us. But today, luckily, that is going to be our last day of the heat and the humidity, which is exciting news because this has been a long heat wave. It's been hot. It's been humid. 90 will be our high temperature today. We'll top out around 100 degrees as the heat index value. Some areas will be a little bit hotter. I'll break that down in just a second. But once we get to tomorrow, we dry out. We get a little bit cooler. We're back to average. It's 88. We're mostly sunny. Pretty quiet. Humidity levels are going to be on the decrease as well. Once we get to Thursday, mid-80s, slightly cooler than Wednesday. Sunshine is expected. Humidity levels are going to be on the decline, at least for, of course, Wednesday and Thursday. We may start to see it tick up once again as we go into Saturday. However, Saturday is going to be drastically cooler. So while it still may feel humid, it's not going to be as hot as it could be. So our Muggy meter is showing that general decline from today all the way till Friday, from near the top part of the muggy category to the bottom of the a bit humid. So we are seeing a lot of improvement there. There will be a little bit of a tick up come Saturday. And then by the time we get to Sunday and Monday, We are in the refreshing and comfortable category, which is nice to see. Let me tell you that. And you're going to like to see those temperatures too. But when we think about how hot it will be today and tomorrow, what are we dealing with heat index wise? Well, today we said 90 feels like 100 degrees. Once we get into Wednesday, upper 80s, feeling like the mid 90s, that may be pushing it a little bit. We could be closer to the lower 90s. And then once we go into Thursday, mid 80s, temperatures feeling like around 90 degrees, which maybe will be closer to around 89 or maybe even closer to that temperature around 86. So the good news is the heat, the humidity, rain chances are going to be on the decline here as we go past today and then into the 7-day forecast. There's a lot of nice things to look forward to in this 7-day forecast, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Here's a look at the 7-day. That chance for rain and storms today, we're dry through the rest of the work week, mid to upper 80s. Typical August summertime weather, sunshine, or I should say typical August summertime high temperature, but it will not be as humid. So that is the good news. Once we get towards the weekend, there's the small isolated spotty chances for some rain Saturday and Sunday with partly cloudy conditions over the weekend. But really, Saturday I mentioned maybe a little bit more humid, taking back up on that humidity, but 84 as our high temperature. Maybe we're feeling like 90 on the high end, and that's just a guesstimate, but will be nicer than what we have felt here over the last, of course, 4 days or so. Sunday, 80 degrees with low humidity values. And then Monday, lowest humidity values, temperatures in the mid 70s and a 30% chance for some rain and thunderstorm activity. Look at that morning low temperature. We are into the upper 50s. Yes, it's going to be feeling a little bit more like fall than August for next Monday and the end of this week. But after last week's heat, the humidity, those feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. This is going to be a nice change for the weekend, despite Saturday being a little bit on the humid side. So a lot going on for today. A lot of uncertainty still resides with that rain and thunderstorm chance for today. I'm going to see if I can force one of the models to update and see if it is a little bit better on track with what's currently happening. This, of course, is in the past. I think this is doing a little bit better here. Let's see what it's got for the rest of the day. So, spotty activity hanging around our southern areas, and it kind of hangs there for the afternoon into the evening. Still seeing the better chance for those rain and storms south of our area. So still seeing that on trend, but of course models are starting to now pick up of what happened, hours ago. So that is a good sign to see that they're getting a little bit more on track with what has happened this morning and how they are putting out information for later this afternoon. But I still think generally we've got that 20 to 30% chance across the area for the rest of the day today. I think that's how we are generally going to continue to be. So just keep in mind that there is the chance to see some rain and storms as we go through the day today. The chances are not zero. So here's a look right now at our Midwest heating, cooling, and plumbing camera. Things are much quieter. We're starting to see some sunshine. Those temperatures will then start to heat up, and therefore 90 degrees will be back on the board for this afternoon. But then, of course, we're going to be cooling down from then. And that's the latest update I've got for you on this Tuesday morning. What was a very stormy start to our day. We have a little bit more heat, humidity our way, small rain chances the rest of the day, and then things looking much quieter for the rest of the week. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and of course, Janae and Taylor will be back here shortly.
Alrighty, that was meteorologist Melissa Meter. We all know her and we love her. We appreciate her weather update so much, but we do want to continue with the weather for you today, especially in the state of Missouri. A report released yesterday outlined several failures of the city of St. Louis's emergency preparedness after emergency sirens failed to sound during the EF3 and EF3 tornado in May. We do have the report for you coming in now.
The report cites a lack of communication between St. Louis's City Emergency Management Agency and the St. Louis Fire Department, a lack of clear policy, and SEMA employees being absent from the office during the emergency. The report says SEMA staff did their best in the Emergency Operations Center, but for most of the 3 days after the tornado, they had no leadership because Commissioner Sarah Russell was out doing what's called windshield assessments, out driving around town looking at damage instead of directing the emergency response. The report states no incident action plan existed until 5 days after the tornado, and multiple federal policies were not implemented, leading to chaos and disorganization. We now know the Emergency Operations Center did not have an updated emergency operations plan. The latest version was from 2003, a plan that predates cell phones. You'll remember just last week we reported SEMA Director Sarah Russell sharing on social media the investigation process has ignored their side of the story. This is someone who worked in the department for almost 20 years, climbing the ladder to director. The report states Russell did have the chance to share concerns, saying we were also troubled by Commissioner Russell's refusal during her interview to recognize the multiple failures or take any personal responsibility for them. The city has made improvements since the May tornado, including having the fire department monitor sirens, automating their activation, and daily system check.
All right, now we are going to turn to Hurricane Aaron, which is off the southeastern coast today and could swipe past the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Some people there face mandatory evacuations and a tropical storm watch. Today, forecasters predict the Category 3 hurricane will stay offshore. Then tomorrow, towering waves and local flooding could impact North Carolina. So because of that, evacuations are underway in parts of the Outer Banks. A high risk of rip currents will continue up the Atlantic seaboard through Thursday, and parts of Maryland could see waves as high as 11 feet. Officials in New Jersey say water conditions there are dangerous already. Now, KCTV5's Brad Stevens has amazing video showing the eye of Hurricane Aaron off the coast of the Virgin Islands.
Hurricane hunters flying through the eye on Thursday and Friday to gather weather data from the storm. This is just an amazing look. Now, this isn't drone video. It's from the inside of the hurricane hunter's plane as the hurricane reached Category 5 level. The storm has weakened since then. Overseas, wildfires are raging in Portugal, but firefighters might not be able to fight them. They say they're facing very unfavorable conditions to put out the flames. So far, a firefighter and a civilian have been killed, and more than 830 square miles have been scorched since this fire began. Back here at home, the Royals feeling the heat. Vinny Pasquantino got pulled from Saturday's game for a heat-related illness. He says he got sick after a strikeout in the first inning. He came back yesterday and is in the lineup for tonight's game against the Rangers. And speaking of that Kansas City Heat over the weekend, it caused a stir with KC Current fans. Many showing up to Saturday's match early, only to find that it was delayed 3 hours right at kickoff. KCTV5's Chandler Watkins is talking with some upset fans.
We're here in Lenexa, where we just spoke to Kirsten Ross. She's still recovering after being out at CPKC Stadium for over 8 hours on Saturday. She and others are hoping for policy changes following this game.
We have no issues with the team. The team did the best they could of what they were doing. We want to know why the league didn't call the game sooner, because anyone in Kansas City knows it was going to be hot.
Kirsten Ross has been a Current fan and member of the KC Blue Crew since the beginning. On Saturday, she got to the stadium before the gates opened.
We bought some cooling towels, and we coordinated with the team to have ice water for the towels so people could try and stay cool, because we were concerned going into this game about the heat.
Fans in the stands were waving fans, attempting to stay cool as they waited for kickoff.
It was weird because as we got closer to the game, the players came out and did warm-ups. And then right as we got to kickoff, there seemed to be like a delay.
Ross says they were then told there would be a heat delay.
We were initially told it'd be like 15, 30 minutes. And then they kept checking every 15 to 30 minutes, and it just kind of kept dragging on and on.
Ross shared this photo showing fans trying to find some relief from the sun beneath the bleachers. She says it was almost 5 before they were told the game would start at 6:30.
I would say there's a good number of people who were probably there at least 7 hours.
The decision ultimately is up to the NWSL. They released a statement to KCTV5 saying in part, quote, "The league aims to play matches as scheduled whenever safely possible. While forecasts guide planning, we primarily rely on real-time on-site weather data to make informed decisions in accordance with our inclement weather policies and protocols."
If you have the advanced knowledge, forecasted out that there's going to be a heat issue, don't wait to make the call. Make the call before fans are in the stands. I'm glad the player safety rules worked to protect them, but at what cost to fans?
Now we have a link to the full NWSL policy in your KCTV5 News app. The Current's next home game is set for August 30th against the North Carolina Courage. That game is scheduled for 6:30. Reporting in Lenexa, Chandler Watkins, KCTV5 News.
The hurricane
Thanks for staying with us on one of our favorite days here at the live desk. It's What's Trending Tuesday. We have Janae Hancock and, of course, Evanie Bing with us.
Good morning.
Girl, hey.
How you doing, ladies?
Fabulous.
Yes. So we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. You know, it's always a party, always a kiki up here. Because there's always something going on.
Always something going on. Bella Thorne. That's who we're
goodness.
starting off with. Girl, get up. Okay, so Bella Thorne over the weekend, she proposed to her boyfriend. In the comments, it has people split. Like, it's 2025. Why can't a woman propose to a man? But I am very traditional. Girl, stand up. Why are you proposing to this man?
And different angles, too. I didn't know it was different
Oh, she posted them all.
Yeah, she was very planned, very prepared. But okay, so they had met 3 years ago at a party by Cara Delevingne. She's a supermodel.
Yes.
And he actually proposed a year into them dating. Well, they had been dating for like 7 or 6 months, and then he proposed. And then I don't know what was going on. Basically, from what I read, that they were, I guess, working through the relationship, planning a wedding. So I don't really understand the significance of her proposing to him.
Was it like a power trip thing?
It
like, I wanna
sounds
get
like
one
it
up on
is.
you?
It sounds
Evanie,
like it
I love
is.
what you said. Girl, get
This is
up.
not the way to
because
do it.
this.
God bless him for getting down.
I know. Look at him. He was like, I'm going to get down to
my
her level. I
gosh.
mean, I don't know what he thinks about it, but
I mean, you gotta kind of like play it off, you know, in the moment, because I mean, what else was he gonna do? But I don't know if you guys watched old Love and Hip Hop.
yeah, I remember I was
with Jim Jones and Chrissy, and so Chrissy proposed to Jim Jones, the rapper, and he said his response was like, "I got you," or something like that. It wasn't a yes, and it wasn't a no, and they're not married to this day. So that tells you a lot about the situation.
Ladies, we do not propose to men.
We
I
don't.
feel like men have to do things on their time, and if you force them into it, they're going to resent you in the relationship. And so I feel like but then again, if he isn't proposing to you within like the first 2 years, then maybe you should get out of the relationship.
But he did, though.
Snap, snap. And you know what? This comment here. Okay, ladies, let's not normalize this. Okay.
Please don't.
So I think we're all on the same page. I mean, if this works for them, kudos. But I can't get on that wave.
It does not work for me. And this actually takes me back to when I was in high school, and I was going to ask this guy to homecoming, and my dad found out, and he was livid.
Yeah.
He's like, women do not ask. He's like, why are you asking this boy to homecoming? But I'm like, he went to another school. Like, I had to ask him.
Yeah.
But I will always remember that, and I will always forever carry that from what my dad told me. So,
well, you know what? It's also kind of like, if this is what people are doing now, if this is what women are doing now, what's going to happen in the future? Like, is this going to be the new normal? And I just don't want that to be the case.
Household.
So, not in my household.
I'll stay single.
Yeah. So, girl, get up. That is the hashtag for today. Okay, so let's move on. There are new words in the dictionary.
Oh, okay. So I feel like, no, I'm not old, but I feel very old when I hear these new words. These are all coming from TikTok and, you know, different terms that originated from our favorite app. Delulu is the first one that is being introduced into the Cambridge Dictionary.
I can get behind that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like I use that one.
I use that.
Yeah, so Delulu, it's short for delusional. Another one, help me out with this one, skibbity.
Never heard
What
of
is
her.
that?
It
Never heard of
has different meanings. It can mean good. It can mean bad. It can mean like a joke. Honestly, I don't really know how to use it in a sentence, and I haven't heard anybody use it in normal conversation.
Yeah.
Skibbity?
And that's confusing that it has like 3 totally different meanings.
Exactly. But I guess it comes from a meme or like a TikTok where it's like skibbity toilet. And it's
Okay.
like a head that was popping up and down. It looked
No.
like Sims.
What?
Like,
I feel like
I don't understand
like
either.
if you have to explain it, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Because when you say delulu, obviously delusional.
We get it. Yeah.
Skibbity, what? What does that
Webster,
even
we need you to
mean?
reconsider.
Reconsider.
Go ahead and take that one
There were
out.
actually 200 words that were introduced into the dictionary, but
Yeah.
these are the top 3 that, I mean, they resonate with me, and I found them to be interesting. But I was going to say that I've heard in and out, but I've never heard of skibbity used. So if somebody wants to use skibbity on me today, please do. Okay, the next one, it is tradwife or tradewife, TRADWIFE. It's an abbreviation for traditional wife.
Okay.
And you have? Okay, so how do
Like-
people pronounce it?
I would assume it's tradwife.
Okay.
So I've never heard of
I've
it.
seen it written like on TikToks, but
Okay.
not said.
Trad wife.
And so it's the abbreviated form of traditional wife, and it's, I guess, people on TikTok who like to really show that lifestyle. Like, I'm a traditional wife.
Okay.
That's an influencer that glorifies Susie Homemaker.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty, I can see that one. You lost me on the second one, but I got you on the first one and the last one.
Okay. But you want to know, trad wife, trade wife, I'm not using that in my everyday verbiage. That's
that
weird
one,
to me.
I get it for the influencer piece of it, if
Right.
that's the lifestyle that they live, but other than that, I'm not using it either. Delulu,
yes.
I might have to use that a little bit more.
Yeah, you're Delulu if you think I'm going to use the other two words. How about that?
Okay, so let's move on to Logan Paul. What's going on with him?
Okay, so Logan Paul and his brother Jake Paul, I always feel like they're into shenanigans, but this time he's in love. Aww. Congratulations to the YouTuber and WWE star. He has come a very long way. He got married to model Nina Agdal, Lake Como, Italy. This was a very fancy wedding, and that boy is getting money. I didn't know that he was loaded like this, but they've been dating since 2022. They got engaged back in 2023, and the whole engagement was on YouTube, which is why they got married in Lake Como. He said that it was very significant to their relationship. And then they had a baby in 2024, so maybe that is what put the wedding plans kind of, halted the wedding plans. But they got married this year. It's very, very cute.
Beautiful family.
Very beautiful family. His brother Jake Paul was there, and he said that the ceremony was making him cry.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
I don't know. For those boys, I just see them into shenanigans, and maybe I'm just used to their early career where they were always making headlines for doing something scandalous on the internet.
Yeah.
But Jake Paul, he is also engaged as well to a speed skater, a Dutch speed skater.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And actually for Logan, who officiated the wedding was his podcast co-host, Mike.
Okay.
So congratulations to him, and I hope that it does last. I want to see them. It's time for him to grow up. That's all I want to see. I think it's great for him.
No, a beautiful ceremony looks like, and her dress is beautiful as well. So definitely congratulations to them.
Well, I'm glad she didn't propose to him.
Looks good.
Exactly. All right, so next up, yesterday there was a countdown for all the Swifties, and it had them going crazy.
Okay.
I don't know if you or any of your Swiftie friends checked in with you, but Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl, the Swifties were waiting until 2 p.m. yesterday, and the big reveal was that she had several variations of her vinyl album. I do not have a record player, and it's just wild to me. I just wish that it would have come out in a CD, because I still have my CD player, but I'm not trying to buy a record player. But yeah, if you want, well, I guess you can't get your hands on this, but like what I said, there were several variations of the album cover, and then also they sold out within an hour. They were supposed to be on sale for 48 hours, but they sold out within the hour. So I'm going to assume that those will be very they'll probably be worth a lot of money down the line. So congratulations to Taylor. She just keeps on winning.
Yeah, so wait, didn't she release another vinyl not too long ago, and then the lines were like super long at Target?
Yeah.
That was like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, and this time around she did it on her website, and so the Swifties were anxiously waiting for 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And you want to know, like, sometimes before I make a purchase, I have to let it marinate. Like, is this worth it? The Swifties, they're impulse buyers.
Yeah.
Ching, ching, ching. They wanted to get that album, so get it, girl.
Yeah. And she definitely knows how to promote her music and everything that she is doing. So I have to ask you guys, this is Taylor Swift. I'm not a huge Swiftie. I hate to even say that right now because I know people are probably going to attack me.
It's okay.
But if you did have a record player, what artist would you want to get a vinyl for?
I do have a vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Thriller album.
You do? That's the one to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a vinyl player, so it's just sitting. But my boyfriend
No,
does.
but that's good.
So I'll play it one day on his.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan.
I actually have 3 vinyls, and they are Drake, Take Care,
Hey.
Justin Bieber, and then I think I have another copy of Drake, just in case, like, if I ever do get a vinyl.
Of the same one?
Yeah.
Of the same one.
Okay.
Well, what happened was, at the radio station, we got a whole bunch of vinyl, and I kind of went in the promotions closet, and I took everything when we went to go move, so I have a lot of copies, and I hooked up a lot of my friends with the vinyl copies, so there we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get the vinyl plug over here.
I know. Hit up even if you want a vinyl. No, I think I would probably say Michael Jackson as well, just because I know like that's just huge, and like you said, it's going to be worth a lot of money if it's not already. So I would for sure say Michael Jackson.
I wish I had an original one.
Yeah.
Mine is not original, but my cousin back home, she has a lot of them. So I'm sure her record collection is probably stacked when it comes to value.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she has a lot of the original stuff from in the 80s.
My parents have some, like, I saw the Whitney Houston album, her first one that came out on vinyl. So I gotta look in the crate and see what they got there. But I do have VHSs, and I did see that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming out in theaters very soon. And so I do have that original VHS in like the paper cardboard.
That
thing.
is
So
worth money.
It's worth
Evany.
money. Hit me up.
Rewind. I miss those days.
I know.
Those were good times.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, so this is going to conclude our What's Trending segment for today. But Evany, where can people follow you on social media?
Yes, X, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Bingy Baby. And you can listen to me every single day on Power 105.1 from 10 until 3.
Always a good time with Evany Bing. We want to thank you so much for joining